Buffalo native, senior advisor to President Biden and director of intergovernmental affairs at the White House, Tom Perez, was in town today. He joined Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown for a tour of infrastructure projects in the Queen City.
Perez also talked with residents during a roundtable discussion today, and 2 on your side's Nate Benson followed along today. So Nate, what did Mr. Perez have to say today?
Well, Scott and Mary Alice, I asked Perez a few questions today about the Kensington project, and he doubled down, saying the Biden administration is committed to getting it done. During a visit to the Queen City, the man of many titles visited his hometown and reminisced.
My first job when I was 16 years old, I worked on Jefferson Avenue. Jefferson Street, I should say, at Sears, Main and Jefferson. So that was my first job. I had a lot of hair back then.
Tom Perez has been the former U.S. Labor Secretary, former chair of the DNC, apparently a salesman at Sears, and now senior advisor to President Biden and director of intergovernmental affairs. In his current role, he gets sent around the country to tout achievements of the administration, and on Tuesday afternoon, it was infrastructure in Buffalo.
And you got to make house calls in this job because that's how you can really see the impact.
Perez and Mayor Byron Brown walked along Main Street, where over the last decade or so, vehicle traffic has returned thanks to a steady flow of federal funds. Perez also wanted to highlight the Biden administration's focus on reconnecting communities that were divided in the 50s and 60s. Projects like the Kensington Expressway. I asked Perez about the growing opposition to the $1 billion plan to cap and tunnel a 4,000-foot section of the expressway. Should the federal government maybe step in and just pause a little bit, make sure all sides are heard, and before we move forward with billion-dollar project?
Well, there's been a lot of the reviews have been done, and they have been comprehensive, and I would argue that they've been very, very inclusive.
During the roundtable discussion portion of the tour, Perez doubled down.
This project will be completed.
Shifting focus and visiting the nearly completed 514 Memorial at Tops, I also asked Perez about gun violence in the country nearly 2 years since the racially motivated shooting. Congress is at a deadlock with this. How do you move the needle on gun violence in this country if no one's willing to move it all?
Well, we do our best with our regulatory measures.
Perez says the Presidential Office of Gun Violence Prevention has been working with state legislatures to pass new laws.
The number of states that have been able to enact common sense gun safety legislation. There are a lot of things that we wish could happen at a federal level.
Perez also said there are opportunities for the city of Buffalo to use federal funds to address the vacant lot issue, something Mayor Brown promised to do during his State of the City address last week. On your side, Nate Benson, Channel 2 News.